got the costs of pursuing the Ukraine war at the exact time, Lori, that we are also building up to prepare if there is an invasion or slow squeeze of Taiwan. Managing those two as a logistical issue for the Pentagon would be huge. Managing them as a budget issue is even larger. And so my guess is, in the end, the discussion about cutting the defense budget, even though I strongly believe there are a lot of places where you could cut that don't touch on those issues I just mentioned, I think the chances of that are pretty small.
Oh, that's really interesting. And so, Gillian, if I could pull you in, given what David has just said about how we're perceived globally, how do you think it's affecting the perception of the U.S. Globally, particularly in Europe, with regards to U.S. leadership, this divide in Congress? And is there concern that the U.S. is going to just be gridlocked in terms of policy? And
I think there are three big issues here, which I think people outside America want to know, particularly from the perspective of the international business and financial community. Firstly, will America carry on being an engine of growth? Because during the last year, the European region has been pretty soggy in terms of growth, to put it mildly. China has gone up and down, and although the reopening of China, now that the COVID controls are being removed, is certainly giving China an economic boost, there's a lot of nervousness about the outlook for China. So America really has been one of the key motors for global growth, and if there's any sign that divided government is going to be significantly dragging it down, that will be concerning. Secondly, the debt ceiling issue is causing real concern amongst anybody who's invested in US assets, US fixed income assets, and that's almost every single fund manager on the planet. So the idea that this could drag on until June potentially, with all the threats of a default, is really something that's very unwelcome. And then thirdly, there's a bigger question about business policy in general, because you've had this growing sense of America being a patchwork of different rules on the state level around all kinds of issues to do with environmental social governance questions. And that's because, of course, the two parties are very split on these issues. That's reflected in Congress. But if there is a sense that America's becoming even more divided in terms of its policies on the environment and other things like that, that again will cause real concern from the business community. And then, of course, there's Ukraine, but I think we've covered that pretty comprehensively already.